Boom! And we are live. Thank you for joining the Max Van Auken Podcast, the MVP. However you're listening, this is on obviously on YouTube, as well as any podcast platform. That's Max Van Auken on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher Radio. Please subscribe. Please hit the download button. It looks like a cloud. You press that button and it downloads the episode. And please rate it 5 stars. Leave a comment. I love checking the feedback. So today's episode, what I want to focus on is I created a list, right? Everyone has different lists that they form. Who's the best player, the greatest players of all time, greatest small forwards, greatest shooting guards, hybrid positions, you name it. A lot of lists have been created. But the list I created this episode that I wanted to share with you guys is I did my top 10 NBA players right now, right, in the game. And then I added 2 players. But what am I doing with these players is the trick. This is where the list part comes in. I'm projecting how many championships each player will win starting today, starting now, going forward for the rest of their career. So LeBron, who already has 3 championships, I'm trying to predict how many championships he'll win going forward. So my top 10 players, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry, James Harden, Giannis, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Joel Embiid. Now, you may disagree with who's 1, who's 2, or who's 5 and who's 6, but generally, I think we all agree with who the top 10 players in the world are. I think those are the top 10 players. Now, the 2 players I'm adding to this list, and you'll see why, is Klay Thompson and Trae Young. Klay Thompson and Trae Young. So I'm going to start off with number 1, go through 10, add those 2 players at the end, and tell you why they're going to win X amount of championships going forward. Now, before I dive into that, there's a lot that comes with this. I'm not just throwing it out here and spitballing. You have to think situationally. You have to think about their playing style. You have to think about their age. And you have to think about their management, what team they're on, their location of the team. All of this matters. All of this matters. Location of the team matters. Because free agents don't want to just go and play in the middle of nowhere. They like major markets. Obviously, situationally matters. Their contract matters. There's a lot that plays into this. Just because you're an amazing basketball player does not mean you win the most championships. If you're with a poorly ran organization, you're not going to win the most championships. Front office has a lot to do with this. Can your front office give you the pieces you need to win? Can the front office support you and get other stars? All of this matters. Age matters. LeBron's 36 now. So he probably has a year, 2 years left of, oh my God, LeBron's the best player in the world. So obviously he has a shorter window to win championships than someone like Giannis. Giannis is young in his career. He has a bigger time frame to win championships. So a lot of different things really play a part in this breakdown. So LeBron James, I'll start off number 1. I think he wins 1 more championship, and here's why. This Lakers roster is in a position to win now, right? They didn't build for the future. They understand LeBron James at the back 9 of his career. He needs to win right now. So what did they do? They get veteran, older players to win right now, situationally savvy veterans who've been in the championship games, guys like Danny Green, Avery Bradley, and Avery Bradley's not too old, but guys like Dwight Howard. Then they give him Anthony Davis. Here's your star. Here's an older roster. Win now. So I think LeBron wins 1 championship. I do. I think he wins in LA. I thought he was going to win this postseason, which he still can. It's still up in the air whether or not the postseason is going to return, depending on who you talk to. One says yes, one says no. So assuming they return this year, I think he wins the championship. Going into next season, if they don't play this postseason, he's rested. I think they have a great chance to win the championship, but it's now. It is now. I think he wins 1, and then that seals the deal. He finishes with 4 rings, wins with a 3rd different team. His legacy's already unbelievable. That's just the icing on the cake. Kevin Durant's my number 2, so let's dive into Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant does not win another championship in his NBA career. I think leaving Golden State was a mistake, but I'm not here to judge personal issues. I'm not here to judge what makes you happy. Just from a basketball standpoint, you left the perfect scenario, the perfect situation in Golden State. An elite roster, an all-time great team, arguably the greatest team of all time. They're neck and neck with the Chicago Bulls. Great management, great front office. All you have to do is hoop. All you have to do is get a bucket. He left that. So situationally, it's changed. He's with Kyrie Irving, who I think is difficult at times. Not disputing his talent, but can be difficult. You have a front office which has proven that, hey, they acquired Kevin Durant, they acquired Kyrie Irving, but they're not the Golden State front office. They're not. I don't think he wins another championship. I think he will always be an amazing player. He'll get buckets when he's in Brooklyn. He's not going to win the championship. So Kevin Durant, 0. Kawhi Leonard. This is an interesting one. He wins a ring in San Antonio. He's won one in Toronto. I do believe he wins one with this Clippers organization. Now, going forward, is it this postseason? Is it the next postseason? I'm not sure. But all I know is I think he wins one more. I think he wins one more because this roster's too good. This front office is amazing. Jerry West. And then you have Doc as your head coach. Too many things have fallen in place for them to not win one. So I think Kawhi Leonard wins one more. Then I go to Steph Curry, who I love Steph Curry. I absolutely love Steph Curry. I think he's underestimated. I think too many people take shots at him because he looks like you and I. He's not 6'8", 260. Steph Curry, I believe, wins another ring, and I believe this Golden State organization is underestimated. When everyone comes back healthy, I get a healthy Draymond, a healthy Clay, a healthy Curry, I have Andrew Wiggins, they have a lottery pick, they can trade assets, they win another ring. I think Steph Curry wins another ring, and I think this Warriors organization does. So stop underestimating these guys. They're smart. They're ahead of the curve. I'm going to go Giannis now, number 5. I think he wins one. I think Giannis wins one ring. Now, hear me out. Now, generational type of athlete. Just the Greek freak. They call him a freak for a reason. To be 7 feet tall, move that fast, and be that strong. Again, this is not a knock on his talent. This isn't a knock on anybody besides why I think they're going to win these rings. Situationally, I believe he stays in Milwaukee, which is a smaller market. Now, they don't have a history of landing free agents. He has Chris Middleton. He has Eric Bledsoe. He has a team that's formed around him, which has success in the regular season, but we've all seen what happens when you create that wall. You can't rely on guys like Chris Middleton to carry your team, like Eric Bledsoe to carry your team. You have to have that second star. And Milwaukee's a very, very hard destination to attract free agents to. So situationally, he has that working against him. And like I said, I believe he stays. So I'm giving him one off just pure talent and just how terrific of a player he is. Because I think his jump shot has shown improvement, and I think it'll continue to improve. So when you create that barrier, that wall in the paint, where he can't get those layups, he can't get those dunks, I think his jump shot will be well developed enough to carry a team and win a championship. I do, so I give him one. Now, this is the same situation with Luka Doncic. I have him number 6. I think Luka is an amazing talent. He'll go down as a Hall of Famer, and it seems like it's hyperbolic to say that for someone who's such a young player, but if he remains on this course, if he sustains this level of play, he will be. And maybe one day he'll be the best player in the world. But situationally, now Dallas has a good front office. Rick Carlisle is a great coach, but they've never attracted a big free agent. You can't name me one big free agent they've gotten. But now they traded for Porzingis. Porzingis wasn't a free agent. So Luka, situationally, I don't think he will. You can't win by yourself. Now, him and Porzingis, don't get me wrong, is a great duo, but Porzingis has injury issues also. I have Luka winning one championship, and it's similar to why Giannis only wins one, and it's also similar on why he gets through it. It's because how great he is as a player. I think just because at one point he may be the best player in the world, he'll win a championship. But I don't think he'll have enough help around him. And honestly, this is going to come off as controversial, and I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm not. I don't think his style of play is attractive. I don't think it's attractive for other players. He's very ball dominant. Obviously, the system's built around him. That happens when you're that damn good. That's what happens. LeBron, the system's built around him. James Harden. But there's ways where you can also, and he'll learn this. Maybe he won't. Look, James Harden obviously puts up amazing stats, amazing numbers, ball dominant. Never wins a championship. And you'd think he'd get it. And we see these Michael Jordan documentaries. And we see these episodes, and Phil Jackson says, "Who's open?" He's like, "Paxson." Pass the ball to Paxson. Paxson hits the shots. They win a championship. Look, Michael could have averaged 40 a night, 50 a night. But Phil Jackson taught him how to win, how to pass the ball, how to elevate others around you. There's difference in stats with assists. People will see a high number in assists, and they think that they're a great passer, and that's not the case. A lot of the times, they don't have another situation another option but to pass the ball. They're double teamed. There's like a couple seconds on the shot clock. You're not elevating other people. Don't let that fool you. For example, Russell Westbrook would average 10 assists. He's not a great passer. He wasn't elevating others around him. Those were passes he had to make. Now, this may kind of go over some of your heads, and you may disagree with me here, but I'm just speaking the facts. I'm speaking on success. I'm speaking on Russell Westbrook's success in the playoffs. I'm speaking on Michael Jordan's success on the playoffs. You could tell a difference in their mentality and how they approach certain things. I don't think Russell Westbrook ever figured that out. I don't think James Harden's ever figured that out. They've never won. Again, this isn't a knock. I'm just saying Luka Doncic's play may never figure that out, where he elevates everyone around him and he wins multiple championships. But at the same time, even if he does learn that, if they don't get another free agent, you can only do so much with what you have. So all that being said, me giving him this championship is off how great I think he is. This isn't a knock on him. I'm not hating on him. Just situationally, his style of play, that's why I think he wins one. All right, now I want to transition into James Harden, who I just talked about. I think you're always going to see James Harden put up astronomical numbers. Always. Insane numbers, breaking records, averaging an insane amount of points during the regular season, triple-doubles, MVPs. But his style of play does not allow him to win championships. When you are ball dominant and you always have the ball in your hand, the whole team relies on you, that is not sustainable. Because then when you need your role players to step up, they're not used to that. They're used to just doing their role. Situationally, they have a Daryl Morey, you can criticize him all you want. He's an aggressive GM. So I think they can require different pieces. They can mix them in and out. I just don't think it's sustainable. I don't think his style of play is going to give you championships. It's going to give you amazing seasons, amazing highlights, which we've already seen. Again, this is my opinion going forward, but I'm also looking at the past. What am I basing this off of? You can't say I'm crazy right now, because if you look at James Harden, he hasn't won a championship, and he has been the guy for a while. It's because his style of play, that's his criticism. Again, not arguing his talent, but his style of play won't win him championships. Going to Anthony Davis, number 8. I think he wins one more. And I think that one more is obviously with LeBron and the Lakers. I don't think he wins post-LeBron. I think he's going to go down as a Hall of Famer, amazing talent, top 5 player, but I don't think he wins without LeBron. And again, you're going to say, what am I getting? Where am I basing this off of if he's an amazing player? I'm basing this off of his time in New Orleans. We've seen him play with the Pelicans. He's not just a rookie in this league. He's had years and years and years with the Pelicans. He won one playoff series. That's it. Winning a championship is so hard in this league. I don't think people understand. Just because you don't win a championship doesn't mean you're not a great player. I'm just saying, we've seen Anthony Davis's resume pre-LeBron. I'm not just saying this because I'm a pro-LeBron guy. I'm just stating the facts. What did he do at New Orleans? He didn't win a championship. He didn't go to the Western Conference Finals. He won one playoff series. So post-LeBron, now he may be in the position to be the guy. He may have other stars in LA if he chooses to stay in LA. Maybe he goes to Chicago where he's from. That's another story. If he goes to Chicago, they don't have a good front office. They don't. They're a wreck. They're a mess. Crazy dysfunction. So even though he's insanely talented, I think he wins one more. All right, I'm going to number 9, Damian Lillard. I love Damian Lillard. You can argue. I think Steph Curry's the best point guard. I think you can go Dame and then like a Trey, or Dame's right there. He never wins a championship because I think he's a trailblazer for life, and I don't think he ever wins a championship with the Portland Trailblazers. I don't. I like their coach. I like CJ McCollum, but they're very nice. They're not championship material. Now, that doesn't mean Dame couldn't win a championship if he went elsewhere, because I think he has a killer mentality. I think he's a good teammate. I think he's obviously a phenomenal player, but because situationally he's in Portland, and I think he stays there his whole career, he doesn't win another one. Now, number 10, I'm going Joel Embiid, right? When healthy, he's like the most dominant force in the league, averaging like a double-double, 25 and 12, 25 and 11. Like, the dude's a monster, and he's great defensively. I liked him ever since he was with Kansas at Andrew Wiggins. He doesn't win the championship. He doesn't. For one, typically the bigger you are, you don't get healthier when you have an injury history going forward. And especially the injuries he has, the knees, the back, that's not good. The hips, that's not good. But even assuming he's healthy, I've been saying trade him, keep Ben Simmons in Philly. I think they would keep him and trade Ben When's the last time you've seen a center lead a team to a championship? When's the last time we've seen that? Because right now it's a very guard-centric league, but really the forwards lead the championship teams, the Kawhis, the LeBrons, the KDs. Now you could say Steph is the rare exception as a point guard, but again, I'm not listing a center here. Even the Spurs, when you had the Tim Duncans, and Kawhi Leonard won the Finals MVP. You also had Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. So you go further back. You go to the Lakers, Kobe. You go to the Celtics. You did have KG, but you also had Paul Pierce. You had Ray Allen. You had Rondo. So my point is, centers aren't winning you championships in this league right now. They're not. And I don't think he's the type of guy to embrace the second role very well because we see it with him and Ben. So Joel Embiid wins no rings. Now my last two guys I bring onto this list is Klay Thompson and Trae Young. Let's start off with Klay. I have Klay winning 2 more championships, which on this list is the most championships going forward so far. Why do I have Klay winning 2? Klay Thompson isn't better than LeBron. Klay Thompson isn't better than KD or Kawhi or Curry or Giannis or Luka or Harden or Anthony Davis or Dame or Joel Embiid. He's not better than all these guys. But I have him winning the most rings because there's always room for a veteran shooter on a championship team, on a roster. So Klay wins 1 more Golden State with Steph Curry. And then I think he's going to age gracefully like a Ray Allen, and he's going to end up on a team where they need that veteran shooter. They need that IQ guy, that locker room guy, that guy that they know will show up and hit the big shot in the big moments because he's been there and done that, like a Ray Allen in Miami that helped LeBron get the ring. That's going to be Klay Thompson. So Klay Thompson wins 2 more rings. That says a lot about his character. That says a lot about his style of play. That says a lot about Klay. So he'll finish with 5 rings. That's impressive to go along with his defense. But like I said, aging gracefully, you're not expecting the whole old veteran guy to play the best defense, even though he can play defense now. Lastly, Trae Young. I put him on here because he's like one of my favorite young players, but I also think he's putting up numbers where you can argue he's top 10 right now. But I'm putting Trae Young on here because I think he wins 2 championships too. So he's tied for first with Klay. And here's why. I just told you it was a rare exception that Steph Curry was the number 1 guy winning a championship. Trae Young, his comparison, Steph Curry. And he's already breaking Steph Curry's records if you compare their careers in year 1 and year 2. But that's not the whole point on why he wins 2 rings. He wins 2 rings because situationally he's in Atlanta. They have they have an identity, they have a direction, they have a great young nucleus, a young core. You got the Cam Reddish, you got the Collins, you have Trae Young. But his style of play, and I'm going to steal a page out of Rashad Phillips' book, my guy, magnetism. People will want to play with Trae Young. He's not ball dominant, and I think people will want to play with him. So when you have somebody as dynamic, as talented as a Trae Young, and you add other pieces, you add other all-stars, now we're talking. That's why you win championships. And let's not forget, your location matters. We're not talking about Milwaukee right now. We're not talking about just like a Denver. We're talking about Atlanta. We're talking about one of the best up and not really up and coming, they're already established, one of the most exciting cities in the world. Young people, athletes, they love Atlanta because it's also heavy in the music industry. It's hip. It's just modern. It's the trend. Atlanta is a very popular destination. So I get that with the good front office. I get that with the good situation. I get that with the dynamic player. And I add the magnetism to it. That ultimately ends up in 2 championships, in my opinion, for Trae Young. So I got LeBron 1, KD 0, Kawhi 1, Curry 1, Giannis 1, Luka 1, Harden 0, Anthony Davis 1, Damian Lillard none, Joel Embiid none, Klay 2, and Trae Young 2. So in conclusion, what do we see here? It's extremely hard to win a championship. I just gave you the top 10 best players in the entire world, and the most rings I see are guys that aren't even on that list. I have Klay and Trae with 2 championships. And that is not a knock on any of these players. It's not. They're all amazing players, all phenomenal players. Will go down in the history book. I think LeBron's the GOAT. I've said it. Now, if you want to say MJ, I understand. My whole point in this is it's incredibly hard to win a championship. And just because you don't win a championship doesn't mean you're not a great player. But there's so many different things that go into winning championships. It's not all on just one person's talent. It's not. It doesn't. Now, of course, that matters. You have to be a baller. You have to be good. You have to be talented. but a lot of things play into it. Situation, front office, coaching, help, pieces. There's a lot. Location, there is a lot. So there is my top 10 players with my two guys at the bottom, Clay and Trey, on players winning championships going forward, starting from this point on. I want to do one with young players. I had Rashad on about who would win the most out of the young players. He thinks Ja, I think Trey. I think I'm going to make a list with the younger players as well, the Zions, the Ingrams, all that good stuff. The Simmons, the Giannis, the Lukas. Well, I already put Luka and Giannis on here, but you get the point. So anyway, there you guys have it. Please download, rate, and subscribe to the Max Van Auken Podcast on any podcast platform. It's on YouTube. Check it out, Max Van Auken YouTube channel, and subscribe. Peace.